Hello everybody, we are live. So Chris is bouncing because we're talking to you today about bounce rate, which has got absolutely nothing to do with what Chris is doing, really. So stop bouncing. We don't want a high bounce rate, so
Okay.
you shouldn't be bouncing. So for those of you who don't know us, I am Jude and this is
Bounce.
Chris.
Hello.
And together we are Ready Steady Websites, and each Monday we come to you at 1:30 with some website or membership site related tips. And today we are talking to you about bounce rate. And the reason we chose to talk to you about this week is because I was in a conversation the other day and we were talking about search engine optimization, which is about getting more people to find your website. But a really, really good point was made in this conversation that it does not matter if you have the most amazing search engine optimization ever and you're getting loads of people to your website if you have a very high bounce rate. But then the question came up, what is bounce rate? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. What is bounce rate?
What is bounce rate and what is a high bounce rate? So Chris and I are going to talk you through that today. So first of all, Chris, what is bounce rate?
A bounce rate is basically when you hit a website on a single page and how quickly it is before you leave again. So that is your bounce rate. So the higher the bounce rate, the more people will immediately leave the page. The lower the bounce rate, the more people stay and then look around the site.
Yeah.
So that's what a bounce rate is.
So you do not want to have a high bounce rate.
Well,
you don't.
in context, it depends on the context. It's not always a bad thing to have a high bounce rate.
Well, no, that is very true. If you are getting the right people to your website, you don't want to have a high bounce rate, because if you're getting the right people to your website, it means that they should be wanting to stick around, they should be wanting to have a look and to find out more about you. But if you're getting the wrong people to your website, it's good if they're bouncing off quickly, because it's showing that immediately they can see that they're in the wrong place and that your message is strong and showing them what it is that you do. And so if it's the wrong person and they're bouncing off, that's fantastic. But if it's the right person and they're bouncing off, you don't want that because you want them to stick around.
But also in the context of what the page is doing is also counts on bounce rates. So if you're looking at bounce rates on sales pages, they're going to be higher because someone's going to hit one page, then bounce off because they joined. So that is done, but it will have a high bounce rate. Whereas a blog post, if you want to send people to your main blog page and you've got a high bounce rate there, that's not as good, because on a blog you want people to stick there and click around, look at other blog posts and stay on the site for minutes and minutes at a time, getting more and more information about you, understanding more about your company or your personality, what you do, and then eventually kind of signing up for something. So in that context, it's better to have a lower bounce rate. And there are varying different degrees of bounce rates depending on different industries as well. So it's not like a cut and dry thing. But in general, like Jude said, the lower the bounce rate is, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do people find out what the bounce rate is on their website?
The easiest thing to do is go and have a look in Google Analytics. So you can see bounce rates there. I think it's in the behaviour metric. You can see people who are bouncing off the site. You could do it. So I wouldn't do it just based on day. I'd do it on month spans. So have a look at April's bounce rates. Compare that to March and the previous months in the year as well to see how your bounce rates fluctuate, because they do fluctuate. Particularly if you've got things like GDPR blockers and things on there, which you may not necessarily see an actual true reflection of who's bouncing off your site, because they may not even accept the cookies. So, it's a good guide, but don't live and die by it.
Absolutely. And so let's take, for example, like you said, a blog article or a homepage, pages that you would like people to be having a good look at. What bounce rate should people be trying to aim for?
I think anything under 50% is good. If you're getting sort of low 20s, that is very good. Something between 20 and 30 is probably a good kind of stickiness to your site, if that's the kind of bounce rate that you're getting. But also have a look at the minutes that people are spending on your site as well. So Google Analytics tells you how many minutes people have spent on your site on average as well. So that's a good indication of how long they're actually sticking around for. So that's kind of
Yeah,
really.
absolutely. And for those pages, so for example, a blog post, how can you improve it? How can you improve the bounce rate, make people stick around for longer?
I think it's all about kind of making sure you really understand your ideal customer, and it always comes back to this with a lot of marketing and a lot of kind of messaging. Make sure that actually you're speaking to them on their level, that you're talking in a language that they understand, but actually you're providing valuable information for them, information that they maybe not be able to get elsewhere, or can get elsewhere but not in your kind of style of doing it and not in your way of explaining things. So the more you can kind of engage with the kind of their needs and their wants, the more they'll stick around and they'll read further into the kind of information that you have. Another way of doing it on a blog in particular is to have kind of recommended or related articles at the bottom. That's always a good way to sort of get people looking around a blog. And also, like we always say with your blog posts, is try and link off to something that is relevant that you would like someone to sign up for. So even if they do bounce off your site at some stage, they've signed up for it, and you can retarget them via your email list as well and get them interested again to come back to your site that way.
Yeah, because we have seen it in the past where we have worked with clients who have amazingly successful blog posts. Like they've got this one particular blog post that's like virtually gone viral and they're getting loads of people to it. But they were getting a really high bounce rate off it because they didn't actually have anywhere else that they were asking people to go once they had read the blog post. So it is really, really important that you do give people an option of something else to read or a service they might be interested in, or like Chris said, some kind of free resource that they can go and sign up for. Then you've captured them, then they're on your email list and you can continue to nurture them even once they have left the website.
Yeah, and in terms of kind of navigating the website as well, make sure your main navigation, so your main menu, is like a sensible length. So we always recommend between 6 and 8 kind of menu items on there. Don't make it too hard for people to find things. If you do have a blog, popping a search on is a good way of kind of allowing people to find more relevant things if you've got a very kind of big blog section on there. But yeah, something that's kind of clear and concise and people can click through your navigation, know what they're going to click on in advance of seeing the page, is a good way of getting people to look around as well, and just keep them engaged, keep them interested, keep them intrigued. Make sure there's an easy way to contact you as well. So if they are dropping off the site at some stage, they've either made contact, you've either made a sale from them, or they've signed up to a thing and then they're on your email list then.
Absolutely. So if you have any questions, do ask them in the comments. If you're watching on replay and you would like to ask us any questions around bounce rate, do put a hashtag replay and ask in the comments, and we always keep an eye on the comments and make sure that we come back and answer those. And if you would like any more top tips around websites or membership sites, do go and check out our YouTube channel, which is Ready Steady Websites, as we are everywhere, and you can go and watch all of our past videos, and we do have the website handbook, which is our book that we released last month, which really supports you right from the start of planning your website right through to creating fantastic ongoing content for your website, to keep engaging those website visitors, to keep them there, to stop them bouncing off. And there is the website handbook that Chris is showing you now, and it is available to all good booksellers or ReadySteadyWebsites.com/handbook.
And it's cheap on Amazon at the moment, so be quick.
It is, yes. Go and check it out on Amazon. So thank you to those of you who joined us live. We haven't had any comments or any questions, so hopefully you're all sorted with your bounce rate. And we will be back again next week with some more website tips or membership site tips to help you with your online business. So have a fab week, and we will see you then. Take care. Bye.